Yes guys, it's Jando. Today we're back with another video, and today we're going to be looking at Simula / Skantia style basses in XFER SERUM. Yeah, let's jump straight into this tutorial and show you what it sounds like. So this is what the main bass sounds like. Yeah, super sick bass. Let's jump straight into how I made it. Yes guys, if you're looking for high quality samples and presets, as well as loads of other stuff, as well as 25% off everything on orders over £20, head over to my website, head to your cart, click checkout, and when you get to the checkout, click add discount code and use code LOVEDNB for 25% off. So starting off, so this is the bass here that we're going to be looking at. So it's like this groovy, it's got this cool groove to it, but it's one of those cool scat basses that Skantia and Simula are making at the moment. So one of those kind of warpy, almost like yo-yo style bass. So yeah, let's jump straight into this fresh serum patch here. I'm going to turn off our post-processing. And yeah, we're going to start from fresh. So, beginning with the Oscillator A, we're going to head over to analog and then into basic shapes. And then we're going to push this all the way up to wavetable position 4. And then we're going to go to here and drop it down at -2 octaves. We're going to bring the random all the way to the left. We're going to bring the level all the way to the left as well. And then we're going to go here to this empty warp oscillator, this warp knob, turn on FM from B. Technically we're not going to really be using this FM, but we're going to keep it on, and I'm going to set it to a certain level in a minute, so that we have the option to turn on the oscillator if we ever want to add variation to the bass. So it's not a key step to be using FM in this sound, but it's a choice if you want to add some variation stuff when it comes to further into the drop. Next we're going to move on, and we're going to take LFO1 and modulate that onto the level of Oscillator A, and we're going to form our shape here. So it's pretty basic shape. I'm going to make this exactly what you want. Doesn't need to be exactly the same, but yeah, this general shape. And then we're going to go on and turn trigger, and then we're going to turn on trip and dot again, so it can be more personal preference and you decide how you want to do it. But for this sound, we're going to be using 1/8. 1/8, and you don't need triple dot on for that rate there, but turn it on anyway and you can mess around with some different rates. We're then going to turn on our filter, and we're going to keep MG low, and we're just going to flick on our key track here. Then we're going to flick on our mono as well for the voicing, and then we're going to pull back our cutoff here to about 270 hertz. You can just type it in if you want to, so 270 hertz. Then we're going to apply our LFO1 to the cutoff of this. And we're going to set this to 7 here, just like that. And that should be the sound that you have at the moment. We're then going to push our res up to about 43%, which kind of gets that warpiness coming through a little bit. And then we're just going to boost our drive slightly. We're going to boost up to about 20%, just like that. Then we're going to head over to LFO2. Now LFO2, this is where we kind of get that groovy, skippy bit that you heard in the bass. We're just going to make this little triangle shape. And then what we're going to do is we're going to apply LFO2 to our cutoff, and we're also going to apply it to our res as well. So on our cutoff it's going to be 18, and then on our res we're going to have 20%. Yeah. Now you can kind of hear that pushing through. That's how we're going to get our warpy mix. So for this one, we're going to set this to trigger here, turn on our trip and dot, and then it's going to be 1/4 dot. So the reason that I said to turn on trip and dot on the other one is because now you can mess around with the rates and try and come up with some different grooves and whatever, and get like really experimental with it and kind of make it your own sound as well. But yeah, so moving on from that, we're then going to head over to our FX tab. If we open FX up, we're going to put distortion at the top, then going to do filter, EQ, and compressor. So for our distortion, the main distortion that's creating this kind of sound itself is this downsample distortion. So we're going to set the downsample distortion to about 40%. And that's when we get that ringing, that kind of ringing noise coming through, which is super cool. We're then going to look at our filter. So for the filter cutoff, we're going to drag this back very slightly to about 270 Hertz. And then we're going to boost our reds up quite a bit to about 50. We'll go 55. Then boost our drive up as well. About 15%. Yeah, it sounded pretty nice. And then we're going to go ahead and mess around with that EQ here. So I'm just going to boost the gain up and boost the Q. Drop back our. Yeah, so here I've got the freak at 653, Q at 73, and the gain at 11.6. Sounded really, really nice. So next we're going to go onto our compressor now, and we're going to gain stage on this compressor. So we're going to modulate it here. We're going to boost this up to about 11. Then we're going to drag this back here and do about 18-20%. And then we're going to go ahead and turn on our multiband as well. And that's where we get the sound from. Yeah, sounds super, super sick. And that's pretty much just the sound. So, like I said before, we can use our FM from B. So the setting that I have for FM from B is I have this turned up to about 32%. And then we can get experimental with this. So we'll just turn down our random phase and our level on oscillator B. And then we can just mess around with some wavetables. And start getting a bit. Yeah, we can get really experimental with it and just mess around, but yeah, that's the whole point of having the FM in there ready to use on oscillator B. But yeah, super sick sound. So for the little bit of post-processing, I've just got a utility to turn it down slightly. I'm EQing again, so I'm just boosting that kind of high section. Just boosting that high section, rolling off the low so I can layer a sub underneath it. And then I've got this here, which is the FabFilter Pro R. It's got no decay on it at all, but we've got quite a high amount of mix. Which has nice stereo width. It kind of gives that kind of metallic effect. I always find that hard to describe, but yeah, it gives a really, really nice effect off. So yeah, that's how you make that sound. And then as well as this sound, we also have this one here, which is literally the exact same patch. The only difference is the rates here. So for LFO2, we're using 1.5 bar, and then for LFO3, we've changed the shape and we're using bar. Yeah, you can come up with some super sick sounds with these. But yeah, pretty much the whole, it's exact same patch as the last one. So yeah, if you want to get these patches, I'll check them on my Patreon. I've just released a sample pack, which is on the screen now, of very similar patches to these. These two patches aren't in the sample pack, but there's a bunch of really sick other Serum patches, samples. I've done a bunch of this kind of style of DnB in there. So yeah, and also if you want to get this project file / the stems, because I know not all of you are on Ableton, I'm going to chuck them up on my website for like a $5. You can get the project file for it, plus all the samples and everything. So yeah, you can use this project file yourself as a baseline to start a track or whatever you want to do with it. So yeah, that's going to be all. Go check out my website, jandadnb.com, and use code LOVEDNB for 25% off as well. Nice one.